So as mentioned, June 2003, the 1-year anniversary month of TNA. The anniversary show is this month, which we'll talk about in a little while. It's interesting to look back on this company over the year, because like the starting identity was there was none, were being WCW, and then they kind of moved away from that, and they realized like, well, the X Division is good, so let's make that our identity. And then like the more Vince Russo has gained power over the last like 12 months, the more the X Division has taken a back seat, and more like the worked shoot Vince Russo, Glenn Gilberti stuff has been come to the forefront.
I just think its identity is just sleazy at WCW. Like, way more down, dirty, and not as well produced WCW.
Because there's an interesting note during the Paul London Chris Sabin match where Mike Tenay and Don West on commentary are talking about how like, oh, the X Division was in past tense. Like the original thing that people came to this company for. It was our original identity. And it is interesting that they were referring to that in the past tense, because right here in June 2003, it really isn't anymore. And it's like, well, that one good thing that people actually liked about you is the one thing you've like given a back seat over the last 6 months. And it doesn't really make much sense, but here we are.
Well, I think it doesn't help when you have your biggest X Division star moved up to the main level now, and you have your new champion involved in a tag tournament for most of the month.
Yeah, Sabin not doing much. He has 2 X title matches. And like the X Division, I think they very much realize is pretty barren these days.
Well, they keep having to bring people in.
Yeah, Styles moved up. Jerry Lynn has moved on to like just more general feuding with people, and obviously Loki is in the tag division and currently injured, and mostly in Japan. So Loki is also not available. Red is an inconsistent presence. There's no Amazing Red this month, actually. I know he was banged up. He was on a tour of Japan, and then he came back, and he was apparently banged up after that tour of Japan. So no Red at all in this month of June. So the people who you would consider like the big 4, the most focused people in the X Division, like the first 6 months, aren't in the X Division anymore. So then you had Kid Cash, who was like the X Division champion, not in the X Division anymore.
Yeah, moving on to better and brighter things.
Oh yes, he is beating women and very happy about it.
He loves it.
He does. He gets off on it. Like, he does a promo this month where he's like, I love beating women. I want to beat all the women.
Thank you for that soundbite.
Oh, no. God damn it.
You fell right into my trap.
Luring me into talking about Kid Cash's misogyny.
Yeah. I'm going to have, like, everything I need eventually.
I'll run for high political office one day and then you will strike.
I'll be like, this is for making fun of my like of MCU stuff, you bastard.
This is for you telling me I'm wrong to accept Disney telling me what's canon.
How dare you yell at me for enjoying a wider universe that's connected through hours and hours of millions of dollars, okay? I'm allowed to like it. That doesn't make me any lesser than you.
But yes, Kid Cash deeply hates women. But yeah, Kid Cash moved out of the X Division. Sonny Siaki, the other X Division champion of this era, moved out of the X Division. So now we do, like, thinking who is in the X Division. The answer is Chris Sabin, who's in the X Division.
Johnny Swinger.
Johnny Swinger, I guess, is in the X Division, but not for long.
But, like, he's been more consistently in the X Division than Shark Boy has at this point. Shark Boy's moved on to tag stuff. Hard 10 division, if anything.
And then, like, Paul London is a guy who was in and out of the X Division, both through injury and having other commitments, and leaving now, because this is the last we'll see of Paul London.
To be fair, he was supposed to be in it.
Yeah, even the people they were bringing in to be like, this is the new generation of the X... Oh, nope, they're gone too.
So right now they only really have Sabin and Frankie.
Yeah, because they bring in Frankie Kazarian this month too, because I think they do realize they're like, oh god, we have nobody in this division.
It does feel like we're fairly moving on to Generation 2 of the X Division now.
Yeah, because we'll have, I don't remember when Michael Shane debuts, but it's in the next couple months that we have Michael Shane showing up as well. And Shane, Sabin, and Kazarian end up being like the next Styles, Loki, and Lynn, just not quite as good. But they are the next like 3 pillars of the X Division.
Yeah. And then eventually we'll get to your Shellys and such. One day.
Yeah, and we'll have the likes of Daniels move over from the tag division and Skipper move over from the tag division. And
that's the one like benefit they have of like keeping Triple X away from the X Division so far, is that they have Daniels and Skipper and even Key eventually ready to go and be fresh in that division when they need them. And be like people who are over and well known, so it's not like it's Frankie coming in here and having to like earn the respect of the crowd.
Yeah. And, like, we've moved past the X Division into, like, the worked shoot era of TNA, which is also gone. Like, that's not what they're doing now anymore, either.
It's still there a little bit. It's like the X Division. You still have a taste of it, but it's not the entire hour and 40 minutes now.
Yeah, there's little smidges of it. We'll talk about like Glingelberti's promo this month, and even Russo's promo has bits of it as well. I guess the Russo D'Lo stuff is kind of worth shoot, but anyway.
A little bit. But it's also just Russo. Like, are you going to just call everything Russo does work shoot, or is it just like this is his character as well, you know?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. But yeah, the era where you had the Dusties.
I miss Dusty.
Don't we all? Dusty, again, another Dusty-less month. 2 straight months without Dusty.
Dusty, come back.
You also had the Pipers and the people just getting in the face of Vince Russo and shooting and talking uncomfortably about people's deaths.
JJ Dillon.
Oh yeah, JJ. Remember all those people that showed up?
Paul Bearer.
You don't really have that anymore though, because like Larry's not around. All the people that showed up have just left.
One day, huh?
Like, I'm trying to think. Debuts this month, you had Frankie Kazarian, who wasn't like a surprise. He was just a new guy on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And you had Shane Douglas, who was like a surprise. He's a guy you know showing up for the first time.
Kenzo Suzuki. Thank you.
But he's not really a surprise either. He's just a guy having a match.
There was one pretty cool debut this month.
Oh, yes, there was one guy who's a big star. You might have heard of him. His name is Sting.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, that might not be him.
Liam, if you listen to the watch-along, we did the watch-along of the 2 middle shows of the month. So the June 11th and the June 18th shows. And announced on the June 11th shows that Sting will be debuting on the June 18th show. And Liam did not believe TNA.
Why would I? What have they done to make me believe that that was going to be real Sting? And I'm still not 100% convinced.
And the fact that Vince Russo was running around with a bat the entire time made you think it was just going to be Vince Russo dressed as Sting.
Which, you know what? They should have committed to.
Yeah, so we came out of like the worked shoot era in like March, which was like when sex began to just become a regular staple on the show. And then we're into what TNA is now, which is probably, just as you mentioned, sleazier WCW.
I described it this week as like if ROH was really infected by like WCW 2000. Because like there's still that like smidgen of work rate in there. It's in there. It's under a lot of grime, but it's still in there. And you have to fight for it, but it is there.
Like, we do have the best match in TNA history this month.
Yes, Kenzo Suzuki and Perry Saturn.
Of course. There's still the little bit of hope, which is honestly the worst part of it. Because if there wasn't that little bit of hope, you'd be able to write it off. But it's like, oh god, there is that great freaking cage match this month. That is like the best match this company has ever put on. Why can't they do that all the time?
Yeah. Why can't they be Ring of Honor without the WCW grime?
They can just be Ring of Honor with mainstream production. As much as TNA had mainstream production.
Hey man, they got a really cool stage this month, so...
Yeah.